it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Been ready, used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn petty. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it an FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities that never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no ends, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah. Run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog walking big dog.
Okay, all right. So good morning, everyone. So my name's Brando. I am known as a lead options trader on X, and I'm just gonna kind of talk you guys through what's been going on in the market and talk about today and what could happen in the near future. So this week, right, we saw a gap up on Monday, and we gapped up on the news with Trump involving some exemptions in the tariffs, right? And at face value, it looks bullish, right? It looks like the market wanted to gap up and rip higher. But like I said over the weekend on one of my tweets, smart money will sell into this rally over the next 2 weeks. And we're almost at the end of the first week of this. And we got a gap up, market sold off, and then what happened yesterday, right? SPX printed another lower high, and then today market gap down on the Nvidia news with restrictions involving China. So even for today, right, the market tried to pop back higher, but it's reversing back lower again. So to me, this price action is still bearish, right? Every pop higher has been sold off, and the past 8 weeks, we're continuing to see more and more weakness. So for me, just to speak on like the more macro side, what I'm looking for in the market this year, it's not necessarily a positive reaction to some type of big catalyst. Like, for example, last week we got that 90-day delay in tariffs, right? The market ripped higher on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, it just started to dip back lower. So for me, the key indicator is this. Let's see some big negative news in the market. Let's see what's next. More retaliation from China or other countries, something involving the Fed. And if the market can have a neutral reaction or even a positive reaction, then that to me is telling me that they're starting to price in the negative news and we're starting to look more forward looking in the market. So that'll be your first kind of big indicator of the market starting to actually form a true bottom, right? The second thing that I'm looking for is something a little bit more not mainstream, but Bitcoin back through 90,000. So the world of crypto, right, and especially Bitcoin, most investors, most traders look at it as a very speculative type of investment. And if you see money start to flow back into something that's viewed as risky, such as Bitcoin, then you should see money flow back into stocks as well. So look for those two things, right? Neutral to positive reaction on pretty negative news, and then Bitcoin back above 90,000. And then the third thing is what's going to happen at the next Fed meeting, right? Right now, they're pricing in two rate cuts, right? 25 basis points uh, with two cuts for the year. There are some banks that are saying there could be five cuts this year. So let's see what Powell says. Does he cut next month? Does he hint at more cuts sooner? And if those three things can align and they start QE again, then to me, it's risk on. And right now, we're not close to either of these three situations. Like, yes, Bitcoin looks a little better, but it's still only at 85,000. And, I'm going to share my screen. Let's take a quick look at SPX. So, where's that? All right, so here is SPX. This is a daily chart here. Each candle represents one day. So we saw the big dip, right? SPX was at 56.95 on April 2nd, right, the beginning of the month. Dipped down to 48.35 a few days later, right? And since then, we've bounced about 13%. So, like I said, the past 3 days, the price action has been more bearish, right? Each day has been a lower high, right? We got a gap up on Monday, sold off Tuesday, lower high, and then a gap down today, and we're well below the high from yesterday, which was at 54.50. So to me, this price action, you could see more weakness here. I think if we can't hold 53.39, which we're right near that level right now, then 52.72 is going to be in play. So, like I've been saying the past few weeks, especially, the path of least resistance is down. And with all the negative news and the way the market's been reacting to the pops higher, um, don't I wouldn't try to average down here for long-term positions. I wouldn't try to, try to be a hero and call where the bottom is. Just trade day to day in this environment and take what you can get. The pops higher are gifts, right? They're opportunities to either scale down in certain positions or to just capture quick profits with calls or if you trade shares. But like I said, uh, the market is in a weird spot, right? In a normal market, after about 3 weeks of a pullback consolidation, you'll see a bounce. You'll see the market start to get bought back up. But we're on like almost, I think, week 8 now, leading into week 9. And the market still isn't really showing any true signs of a bottom. Still too much weakness. And if you look at this chart here, right, the 200-day moving average is at 57.52, right? The 50 days at 57.22. So that is also like another technical like indicator that if they reclaim these levels, these moving averages, then that would be a much more bullish sign for the market as well. So keep an eye on that 57, 50, 5,800 range. I would say once you see the S&P get back above that, then yeah, the market will definitely look much better. And right now there's a lot of different uh, opinions on where we're at in the market. Some people say we're in like a stagflation type of market, which is possible. It kind of looks like that, right? If you look at the returns or if you look at the S&P since like, let's see here. Let's do a weekly chart and just show you guys. Like if you look at the S&P, the highs from January 2022, we're kind of right back near there, right? So all the gains that we got since we got back above those highs in 2020, early 2024, it kind of gave it all back. And, a big sector leading stock like Nvidia, right? If you look all the way back to like uh, a whole year, the stock hasn't really done too much, right? It pretty much back tested the March 2024 highs last week, right? Nvidia got down to 86. It's at 104 now, but it's possible you could just see this wide range for a while, right? Potentially for at least another 3 to 6 months for Nvidia. It's been, it is a loved stock. It's borderline like a cult stock, but it hasn't produced any real gains for anyone that's been invested in this thing for the past 13 months. So just be aware of that when you're looking to trade or invest something, invest in a stock. uh if it's not moving and every time it's tried to pop higher it gets sold off, then it sometimes cash is the best position. And yeah, right now, for today, the market's pretty choppy, right? Like I said, that 53.39 level for SPX, it's important to hold. It's under it now, right? And QQQ is trying to break under 449. So it looks like today, unless we get back up to the highs, then looks like more downside leading into Thursday, especially if we get more uh, negative headlines. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for the, I guess, macro side and just the technical side of the market. If there's any questions, I can definitely answer some. Keith, are there questions like that going to be posted in the chat or? Okay. Okay, gotcha. Let me look. Okay, cool. Let me look this. Yeah, it's Jackie Chan. Yeah. All right. Okay. So someone, pretty like general question, like asked, like, what does chop look like? So, like, if you look, see, am I still sharing my screen? Yeah. So you look at the S&P today. Like, let me pull up like a 5 minute chart for today. So if you look at a 5 minute chart for today, right, where the market gap down and how it traded for most of the day so far, it's still just in this opening range, right? It's at the bottom of the, this is Nvidia, but the same applies for Nvidia too, but it's kind of just in the same range here since the open, right? It hasn't really broken down and it hasn't really broken higher. It's kind of just trading right in that same range of that opening candle. So that's what chop looks like, uh, especially on the bigger gap down. Sometimes there's a lower probability of a continuation, especially when the S&P can gap down like 60, 70 points. But overall, the market still does look pretty weak. Yeah, it looks like not too many questions on the stock Twitch chat here. Some trolls for sure. Okay, let's take a look. Stop sharing that. Yeah, like there was, so like Nvidia had negative news, right? And it gapped down, tried to break higher at the open, but now it's right at the lows. So the only way that thing could potentially look better is if it moved back, I would say above 108 to set up for a bounce. But negative reaction to negative news and holding at the lows, it's very bearish and it's hard to take calls on something for a trade like that, for a stock like that. So for Nvidia, the path of least resistance is down. It could test 100 next. So I would be careful trading calls on that. And then with Apple, right, it had the big gap up on Monday, got to 212, and now it's at 196. So the next big resistance level to get back there is 200. So if Nvidia can get back to 200, Nvidia, I'm sorry, and Apple gets back to 200, Nvidia gets back above 108, can start to look better for the overall market. But as long as these two are hanging down near the lows, you have to be just more patient, more tactical, and just be ready to trade both sides here, especially the downside. Yeah, another example is like PLTR, right? The past day, it it looked pretty strong. It was almost at 100, right? It had a lot of relative strength yesterday, and now it's reversing right back lower. So when you see stocks that look strong one day and then the next day they look very weak, it has to make you more uh, hesitant to take calls or to consider trading that stock, right? The price action becomes more random. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I have for my kind of talk in the market for this current moment. Probably gonna jump back into trading, guys. So I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to add for the chat, but might wrap it up here. Was there? Okay. Oh, AMD. Okay, let's take a look. AMD. Okay, let's pull up AMD charts. Okay, let me share my screen. One sec. So AMD's at $88 right now a share. I mean, this thing's been a consistent downtrend, right, since last October, right? It's pretty much trended lower nonstop. This, I would say this stock needs some significant news to break this downtrend. So who knows when that comes? Maybe they need a new CEO to trigger something here, but trying to buy the technicals here, I think it's only worth as a quick day trade. Other than that, you need a something really big to change this trend here. It's been in a very long downtrend, and every pop, as you can see on this daily chart, it gets sold. So I think it's dead money down here. I think at the minimum, you got to wait for this to get back above 100, and then through 100, you might get a shot up to 116 again. But yeah, that stock doesn't look great. Okay, gold, yeah. So you know the ticker is the gold. Yeah, so I think it's a GC. No. Yeah, so gold right now, let me look. I have that myself. Yeah, I think gold's at what, 3,300 almost? Wow, yeah, 3,300. Yeah, so gold's pretty much at all-time highs right now. Yeah, the interesting thing is like gold and even Bitcoin are holding up pretty well in this market. Stocks are definitely taking a hit, but yeah, we've seen a pretty big move in gold. It was at 2950 not too long ago, and now it's at 3,300. Some people are saying gold could go to 4,000 next. So yeah, I mean, long term, I'm pretty bullish on gold. Like me personally, I've been buying like physical gold since like probably around 1200. Um, during it's funny, like even during when the inflation was going up and people were like, oh well, gold is a hedge against inflation. For a while gold didn't move, right? But now you're starting to see it move. So yeah, yeah, those the gold that I bought, yeah, I mean it's not up a triple yet, but it's getting close. There's definitely some trolls in here, huh? All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off. I actually need to get back to trading here. So thanks for having me on. Looking forward to doing this again with you guys. But yeah, I gotta get back. Market's starting to dip here.